All right, and welcome back to Talk of Better Worlds. This is podcast number 12. I am Sir Felix the Cat, and I have Hawk here with me. How are you doing today?
I am sore. How about you?
I am not sore.
Yeah.
I've done a whole lot of nothing.
Soon I'll have nothing.
Yeah. What, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 10 years?
I think it's like 28 days, 29 days.
28 days later?
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't go that bad.
All right. So let me start with some news. Choose the tile called news. There we go. So first thing I want to talk about is pick up a game because I love this game on the PS1. Toomba Special Edition is now out on the Nintendo Switch. Just dropped a couple days ago. Are you familiar with this one?
Not at all. I was just about to ask, what is this?
So it's a platformer, but it also has like some RPG mechanics. Like you have a health bar that you grow by getting different special items in the game. You have different clothing and like weapons you can equip. Like you can see here, he has the flail, and then you start off with a pair of green shorts on, and you can change up to purple, which lets you jump higher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a platformer RPG, which is very interesting. Here you can see like there's a little 5 with the bar going up. Different enemies have different, I guess, types you want to call them. And by picking them up and throwing them, like defeating them, you're going to raise your skill level towards them.
Oh, like you have like your skill at fighting X enemy?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the whole game is like, they did it pretty well. So it's not like Mario where you just go one direction. You're going to be going back and forth across the world.
Oh.
But certain places are going to be blocked off by an AP counter, which isn't hard to get. Killing one enemy gets you like 500.
Okay.
So just do your quest. Like there's a bunch of side quests to do. You can see here he's in the Dwarven village doing some things.
I like the dwarves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Dwarf Elder. You do like a story mission for him. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's a fun game, but I definitely suggest if people didn't get the chance on PS1, definitely check this one out.
This is PS1?
Yeah, it was PS1. What's crazy is the second one was also PS1, and it was one of the first like fully open world game. Like it's all one level.
Okay.
And it's
I guess it would be an open world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Or Toomba, whatever you want to call it.
It looks like the N64.
Yeah. Yeah, it is quite dope.
I think it's pretty cool. I might pick it up.
Next, Broken Roads dropped for the Switch, which I didn't think this one was coming. I thought they straight up canceled that port.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we got Broken Roads, and I know they got a lot of hate when it first released. But yeah, it's a fun little throwback game. I haven't played too much of it. I'm done like one fight, and I'm starting to get like more people on my team. But it is a full like Fallout type game, like the original Fallouts and Wastelands and whatnot.
Yeah, I played a bit of this one on PC when it came out, and I like some of the mechanics like that, like the psychology mechanics.
Yeah, the morality board.
Yeah, the morality. That's really cool, but just something about the game is not for me. I don't know. I refunded it. Maybe I'll buy it again later, or wait 10, 15 years, change as a person, and come back to it and love it. I don't know.
This is the one thing I didn't care for about it too much, is that battle map is really small.
Okay.
I found that strange.
So you're doing a lot of stuff at the same places over and over again?
I mean, not really. Like, this is the farm you start off on. This is the first fight that happens in the game. But every time you get in a battle, it's like this little octagon thing or whatever shape you want to call this, since it's not even.
Oh, it's like an arena.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So like I prefer like Wastelands. It's also technically an arena, like Wastelands 3 and 2.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a big arena. Like there's stuff to hide behind. I don't know. It feels more real. I don't.
Well, yeah, like the arena, the quote unquote arenas. See, like this in Broken Roads feels like an arena, but in what's it called, Wastelands 3, it doesn't feel like an arena because it's not restrictive in any way. Like you don't
Yeah.
even notice it, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one you definitely notice it. That's the first thing I saw was like, what is this orange line going on here?
That's weird,
Yeah, that
man.
was
That's real small.
yeah. And this guy is a really good shot. I could tell you that much. He missed once and then ended up killing this guy by himself, basically.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even get to combat.
Yeah, the other thing that I'm not a fan of is I'm not the biggest on point and click. And this is basically what that is. Like, click to move here. Like, oh, whoops. Yeah, so we're just done with that. But yeah, I mean that's a 18 or 17 plus game or something like that, whatever it is, mature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a fan of like the whole having to click somewhere to move. I want to be able just to move, like use my stick since I'm not playing on a computer. Let me just move.
Yet to be stuck with that kind of movement system on a Switch without a keyboard and mouse is torture.
Yeah, it's a lot of like zooming in and out with the other stick just so it looks okay when you're doing things.
That's horrible. I hope they fix that because that sounds more like a them issue. Because like every other game that's like that, you can move with your sticks.
Yeah, not the old Baldur's Gates. Those you have to do it. Same thing, point and clicks. They never update anything. They just ported the games.
But doesn't touchscreen work for those on the Switch?
Possibly, because I know they have that on phone, so probably.
Yeah. Yep. It works
That would
great
make
on the
sense.
phone. I played those on the phones.
Yeah. And then my last bit of news is the lovely story everybody's been talking about. So Bungie last year, near the end of last year, laid off a bunch of people. And then unfortunately now they are laying off another 17%, which is 220 people.
God.
And the people are they were completely caught off guard. Like they had no clue this was coming. And then the statement was put out, which is even worse. Like they were saying like, oh, it was a tough decision. And then followed that up with, we're still going to commit to this, even if the new DLC for Destiny does well.
Yeah. You know what? Did you hear about the CEO? I think it's a CEO. He's either the CEO, the CFO, one of the higher.
Bought a bunch of cars.
Yeah, his unending list of cars worth like houses.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious, bro? This is the problem. This is the perfect encapsulation of the problem.
Yeah, can't take a little bit of a pay cut to keep your employees.
God,
keep the people who make you money. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, anyone who reads this story and doesn't get mad is not, you get your head out of the sand, basically, because this is happening to the video game industry. Like I saw Young, and a couple other people talk about it, and they were like, "Oh, this is a problem in the video game industry." It is, but it's a problem in the work industry.
Yep.
Period. Unionize.
Yep. Yeah, do like Bethesda did the other week. Unionize.
Unionize, because this stuff stops when you take their money away and you fight them. Unionize.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the same team that's working on Marathon.
Yep.
And it's like you're gutting a crew as they're going to be working on something. That's dope.
Which, I mean, come on. Like, you and I know at least Marathon is going to be garbage.
Yeah, it's going to be a live service. It's not going to be Marathon. It's using the same name. And maybe like some aspects of it, but it's not going to be Marathon.
Not at all. Which is a shame because the OG Marathon games are dope.
Yeah, there's also something else happening with Bungie. So apparently their Sony is taking some of their people and putting them in a new like PlayStation studio.
Oh?
Yeah. So it looks like that might be their end game with Sony, because they basically let Bungie just do what they want because they're Bungie.
Yeah.
And now it seems like they're just kind of starting to reel it in and be like, so this is what we're going to do. We're basically going to gut Bungie and make it a new company under us.
Well, has Sony dropped the like 8 live service games that they were making yet? Or like
they dropped a couple. I don't know what they were. I don't think their names were ever announced.
Probably for the best.
But yeah, I mean, like one of them was that Foam Stars or whatever it was called, the Square Enix one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which that one, man, great reviews. It only just completely flopped on release.
Well, it's because they like dude, Square Enix only knows how to fail for the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
And I don't
Except for
get
on
it.
their like little RPGs, like Octopath, and then they're coming out with the Dragon Quest ones.
Oh yeah, well, like even when they make a good game, which they've made good games
Yeah.
over the past couple of years. But like even when they make a good game, they just have no idea what to do with it.
They don't give it any like word of mouth, which is just trash. They
There's
only
no
give
marketing.
if it's Final Fantasy 7 remake. Oh, they're going to give it a bunch of announcements. They're going to talk about it nonstop, but nothing that would actually sell to people who don't just pay attention to like YouTubers online who are talking about these games.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a shame because like I'm not into JRPGs really. I mean, I can play some of them. I think some are really cool, but it's not my thing. But I mean, Octopath looks so good that I bought it. I still have yet to play it. But that game's I mean, I could tell it's amazing, and like care and passion went into that game.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I mean, it still sold a lot. I think it broke 1 million copies, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, I think 2 broke 1 million copies as well. I think it
Good.
did it in a shorter amount of time. Unless I'm just completely mistaken there.
But they need more because they've been messing up so much.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's like when they did they shotgun those games a couple years ago when Diofield Chronicles, Harvestella,
Yep.
and they dropped another one at the same time. I think I got them all. I just can't remember what the third one was. But yeah, they shotgun those games out, and it's like the only announcement we ever got was the Nintendo Direct. Like, you guys don't want to like, put out some commercials like, hey, by the way, this is out there. Put out some flyers at game stores.
Or even
something.
like a social media event, or like pay a streamer to play it. You know what I mean? Like, just do something.
Yep. Nope, we can't have that. That would be sensible.
Well, and they killed my favorite franchise of theirs, Deus Ex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they then gave it, sold it off to Embracer, which I think Embracer still holds the rights to it. But they were making one, and then it was scrapped.
Ah!
Yeah.
So angry, dude.
Yeah. Yep. Which there's a new spiritual successor to it, or someone who's a big fan of the original Deus Ex is making a game.
Yeah, that one you told me about.
Yeah, I forget the name of it.
I forget the name. I put it on my wish list and called it a day.
Yeah. That's all you need. You'll get an email about it eventually.
Yep, it'll pop up at some point. But that one looked really good, whatever that game was called.
Yeah. Yep. So today we are going to talk about historical fiction, since we are both into that in varying levels.
Oh yeah.
But just start off. So do you have one that's your favorite?
Like, just favorite historical fiction thing, whether it's movie, TV, video games, etc.
Yeah, it could be a book. Doesn't matter.
I would say probably, if we're talking historical, well, I hate nuance, dude, because I'm thinking about like stretching. Like, what do you mean fiction? What is your definition of the word is? So I guess like maybe the Assassin's Creed series is probably my favorite like go-to historical fiction video game franchise.
Yeah.
I love the Total War games. I love what is it? There's a game that came out not too long ago called Conscript. It's a World War I horror game. But yeah, I guess if I had to pick one, it'd be the AC series, because it's stupid, but it's cool to explore those time periods, I think. But what about you?
Mine is Robin Hood, but not like just Robin Hood in general, because some of the stories don't really follow the historical fiction guidelines. But there's a book, Hood, by Stephen Lawhead. This one starts off, and there's like the 100-Year War is building up. Like, it goes more in depth with it, kind of like the Robin Hood movie with Gladiator. Yeah,
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep, that was a good one.
Yeah, and this is kind of like that. This one has a lot of intrigue. I really like Robin Hood himself in this one. It's just a beautiful book, and I just found out today there's 2 more books I got to find out. I got to find and pick up, hopefully, without buying all 3 of them, because I don't want that.
Like in that series?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he did one on Scarlet and then one on Friar Tuck.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I gotta read those, dude. They sound cool.
Yeah, Stephen Lawhead's a dope author.
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but it's definitely worth checking out.
He did. Let me find his other series that I like. I can't remember the name of it right now. But yeah, he's done some cool things. He did Merlin, Arthur, Pendragon. He loves that time frame for his historical fiction, which I guess that'd be another one that's cool to mention, is like the King Arthur stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. King Arthur is awesome.
I don't see his other series here, but I know he has something else that I was reading besides this.
Oh, his books. I love the artwork for some of his books. It looks like something stripped right out of the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, definitely check him out.
Dream Thief. Oh, that looks cool. Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to check him out because I love that kind of Robin Hood, King Arthur or Merlin historical fiction type stuff. Because it's just sometimes people think that fantasy is historical fiction.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Well, didn't you know the Elder Scrolls is historical fiction?
Yeah, it's a historical fiction video game called The Elder Scrolls, bro.
Yeah.
God, no, I hate that. Like the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing historical about that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe some of the like events, like the jousting, like we've seen that happened. That was a thing.
Yeah. Or like maybe some clothing and some stuff like that. But also they go like, it's called the Renaissance Fair, but they focus on like a pseudo medieval period, not the Renaissance.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I always found that kind of funny.
But yeah, so you brought up the main reason for this topic, Assassin's Creed. We're coming up on a new one. What's it called? Shadows?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's going to be taking place in Japan, in feudal Japan, and we're going to have a character that's caused a bunch of controversy online, and that would be Yusuke. First to start off with just some racist attacks, like, oh, he can't be black, and it's like, okay, we're just going to stop that one. But then his status came up as a topic, which was he a samurai? And I know me and you have discussed this like off air.
Yep.
That it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of us can prove it. So coming online and being like, oh, he wasn't a samurai. It's like, you have proof?
Yeah. Like, I think I'll say exactly what I think I said to you before. The only thing, as far as I know, and I haven't like dug too deep into him, but as far as I've seen, the only things we know historically about him is that 1, he existed. 2, Oda Nobunaga was interested in him for some reason. 3, he impressed Oda Nobunaga and was given a sword at least, and probably some armor. Now, does that mean he was a samurai? I don't know. Does it mean he was a retainer? I don't know. Usually these people owned these weapons, not peasants or random one-offs, but it could have gone either way. And then 3, we speculate that he died with Oda Nobunaga in the temple that he killed himself in as they assaulted the city and temple that he was in. That's it. That's all we know. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, which I mean, that alone would make me at least believe if he's not like officially titled a samurai, he's at least like a guard of this guy. He was one of his like right hand man, just keeping him like helping protect him at least.
Yeah. So both sides could be correct. He could have been a retainer, which is like your right-hand guy, your attendant, your protector, like a dude who's with you for something. He could have been a retainer, or he could have been a samurai. Maybe he was both. I think it's kind of stupid to argue about whether or not he was a retainer or a samurai.
Yeah. The whole argument thing about him is just dumb. I don't get it.
It's like, come on, let's calm down. Okay. Yasuke existed, and he was with Oda Nobunaga, and he had weapons, and he was a big dude, apparently, which I mean is not hard for feudal Japanese people because they were very small.
Yeah.
But He was a big guy, probably from somewhere in like, I don't know, North Africa or Central Africa, maybe. I don't really know. But that's all there is. So like, why are we having this argument when we're also talking about Assassin's Creed, dude? We
The
killed the
most.
Pope.
Yeah, yeah, the Pope who uses like some crazy orb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, we had this wonderful Italian man who ends up using like this holy apple. It's ridiculous. It is
yeah,
ridiculous.
sir, this is McDonald's, okay?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about Assassin's Creed. It's a fun, stupid, historical-esque video game series where you get to go around and stab people and sneak and have a cool story. And it doesn't matter. Like, this is a problem that I think I see a lot, is that people want either total fantasy or they want 100% historical accuracy, and you're never going to get either. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
unless it is just fantasy.
Yeah. I mean, they do have some very accurate historical things in there, like in Ezio's games, the one who was making you gadgets and stuff. That totally happened.
Yeah, Da Vinci. Yeah.
Yeah, Da Vinci.
Well,
Yep.
see, there's a lot of actual history in Assassin's Creed games. Like, a lot of the people that you're either killing or interact with did actually exist.
Yeah.
The language that they speak is often accurate, even the way they speak it, and they got better with that in the last couple of games. The buildings that you could climb up on are usually ones that existed and look as close as close as we can have them look to what they probably looked like at the time, because we don't always know exactly what they looked like. The cities are real, like the societal stuff is usually real. There's a lot of history in Assassin's Creed games. It's there.
Yeah, it's like the building in France that they used Assassin's Creed to rebuild.
The Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which that's a feat right there.
Oh, it's amazing. And look at the guy, the what is it? The something tours. I forget what they're called. In the newer AC games, you have these virtual tours you could do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're used for education purposes. They are as accurate as you're gonna get in terms of seeing an ancient city.
Yeah. Which is pretty awesome. It
Dude.
should be done like the Renaissance Fair, though.
Well, I was impressed in Odyssey, AC Odyssey. They even had painted statues, dude. Like, there are real historians that work with Ubisoft for Assassin's Creed games who actually care about history and who do their job pretty well. And not all of it comes through, but there is actual history in AC games, and I love that.
Yeah. Yep, they do well. They do well, and it's enough history to not bore somebody, but it'll keep you interested, and then you have like the addictive gameplay.
Yeah, yeah. You can't have 100% accuracy in that kind of stuff because it would just be boring.
Yeah,
it would be boring.
Yep. What about that? What's that game? The Czech game.
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that like the most historical accurate game?
I think from what I've seen, and I play a lot of historical video games, from what I've seen, I'm pretty sure it's one of, if not the most accurate historical video games. It is not accurate in terms of the main character's social climb. Nobody would go from a blacksmith's son to a knight, or like working with kings and stuff like that. That would never happen.
Yeah, that's just for the game.
Yeah, that's for the gameplay, which is fine. That's good. Some of the clothing isn't very accurate. Like, they have like laces where they shouldn't be. It should just be a complete bit, or like, it's stupid nitpicky stuff. Outside of the actual historians talking about it, it's the most accurate you're gonna get in a video game.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Kind of excited for the second one, even though I was trash at the first one.
Yeah, I just hope they optimize it better.
Yeah,
because it ran like garbage on most systems.
Yep. Yeah, getting like because I played on the PS4, getting lag in that first like boxing match just was enough to make me mad at the game.
Yeah. Oh, we got a comment from David.
Yeah, I invited David McDiner on so he can join us one of these weeks. He couldn't make it this week. I don't know if he's going to make it next week because the Niners start playing at the same time our show starts.
Oh, okay.
So I get that one. Maybe we could try for another week though.
Yeah.
Figured it'd be fun to have him on.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Spice things up.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a third perspective since we don't have BC here anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. We could throw a topic in that makes sense too.
Yeah.
But
yep. But yeah, historical fiction. So what? So in the game, you have to have like things that are like gamey. But what about for movies and stuff? What do you think makes a good historical fiction movie or like historical fiction book?
I think there's a hierarchy of ability to include realism. I think you could have the least amount of realism in a video game because you have to have gameplay that's fun. And you have to spice things up because most people don't care about history. So you have to you have to beat the Pope to death with your bare hands. So that's how it has to be sometimes. But I think in the second tier of that, from the bottom to the top, in terms of least accurate to most accurate, is movies. Movies can be the second most accurate out of those three mediums. And I think to make a good historical fiction or even like historical recreation or period piece movie, it's got to have, if not everything accurate, then at least the main stuff that people will notice right off the bat. That historians will notice the small things, but the majority of people will notice the big things. Like, for instance, if it's a Roman movie, I want them to have, if they show Roman soldiers, to not have all red, because Romans would not all wear red tunics. That's a tiny thing, but it gives you more realism. To have their shields painted and look like they're hand painted instead of printed. To have buglers or the trumpeters and stuff like that, the guys who would be leading the marching songs and stuff, or societally speaking, have the correct foods. This stuff like the togas is tied correctly. They speak correctly. I don't know. I think you could have a good amount of accuracy in a movie, more so than a video game. And I think it depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're doing a more period piece kind of movie, like what's that movie? The Duel. Are you familiar with that one? The Last Duel or The Duel?
I've seen The Last Samurai.
Well, that's a good example. Okay, Last Samurai. The Last Samurai, I think, is loosely based off of I think he was a French guy who became a samurai in the 1800s. Yeah. I forget his name, but a lot of the stuff in The Last Samurai was pretty well done. It was, if not accurate, it was represented well enough to be like, that's close enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you just need to get close enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Close enough. And you could be more loose with it if you're doing like a comedy, just it's going to be funny.
Yeah.
It's like in our background for this one, we have some revolutionary soldiers with a laser pistol. Like it's absurd.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's going to be absurd. From that point, it's ridiculous.
And that fits.
Yeah. Like cowboys versus dinosaurs or versus aliens.
Yeah. I'm not concerned about accuracy in cowboys versus aliens,
Yeah.
But what about you?
I mean, so I have issues with some, like, I like that when it's the same thing with true stories. When something says like based on a true story, be as close as you possibly can with it. If it's going to be based on true events, like for a historical fiction, be as accurate as possible. That's where we just lost him. But when we're seeing something that's based on something true, I can't deal with a lot of inaccuracies. Like I said, in comedies, you can go ahead and have something goofy happen. But if you're doing like a historical piece on, say, Beethoven's life, and Beethoven pops out with a laser pistol, like it's That's not cool. Like the historical inaccuracies that way. You got to keep it as true as possible, unless you're like clear from the get-go that this is going to be completely a comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very picky about it.
Yeah, it all comes down to what you're trying to do. Like you said, if you're making a period piece and a biography on Beethoven, and he pops out with a laser pistol, that's a little dumb.
Yeah. It's like I did the writing video a few weeks ago, or story video, and I was saying in there, like, if the scenario was the story's about a teen in high school, and he just wants to be a football player, so he tries his hardest, he gets on the team, and he finally makes it. He's going to actually be the quarterback. So for the opening game of the season, he throws a pass and gets a touchdown. And then next thing you know, he turns into Godzilla, opens up a black hole, and destroys everyone. It's like, it was cool up until he turned into Godzilla.
Yeah, it's got to make sense.
Complete nonsense. Yep.
I think a beautiful example of a period piece that is fiction, but is the perfect representation of the time that it takes place in, is The Witch with 2 V's.
Oh yeah, the Vivitch, as I like to call it.
The Vivitch, which that even the name of the movie, they didn't have W's back then, so they would spell witch with 2 V's, even though they would say it as witch.
Yeah.
So like everything about that movie, first of all, the actors and actresses are god tier, like they are incredible. But the material that they were given, the clothing that they wear, the way they speak, the not only how they sound, but like the words that they use and where they put those words in a sentence is extraordinarily accurate to English at that time period. That's an incredible fictional movie that is based in a historical time period.
Yeah.
Do you have any good examples?
Take place in a historical, I mean, not really, not that I can think of off the top of my head. Besides the one we watched today, that's the best.
Oh, that's we gotta dive into that later.
Like the first historical fiction I can remember watching, I think, was Braveheart, or I don't know which one came out first, Braveheart or Forrest Gump.
I think Forrest Gump might have come out first.
Yeah, then I watched that one. I mean, then there's Titanic, which I just have tons of issues with. I mean, some of it was really good. I mean, a lot of it was really accurate.
Oh, yeah.
We did well there. Yeah. And then I like how people complained about the stars, and he went back and edited that. That was a bit too much. It was ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, that would probably be the most historically accurate one I can think of. Like, they added some fluff in there to make it an interesting movie. But yeah, that was very accurate for what happened, how the ship was, how it looked. Like, they nailed a lot of that.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah. I was obsessed with the Titanic from a very young age. Like, I was the kid that would check out like 12 Titanic books, like every week for school. I was obsessed with the Titanic, and I watched that movie like it was my religion over and over and over again. And then coming back to it later, looking at the historicity, the accuracy and all that stuff. It was incredible. It's kind of a dumb love story, but everything else was really accurate. But what do you think about, before we get into that, what do you think about Gladiator?
I mean, I only watched it once. It was interesting. That's really all I can say about it. Yeah, it's been way too long since I've seen it. Oh, I remember some of the fights, and that's really it. I just remember when I watched Robin Hood later, like years later, I was like, this is a lot like it. It's like it's that spiritual sequel.
You have to watch Gladiator again, man. This is a good example of a movie that's not very accurate, but still really good, even though it is historical fiction, because the Commodus never did, the stuff that he did in the movie. There was no Maximus Aurelius. They got a lot wrong historically in that movie, but I love it because it works for the movie. It just worked.
Yeah, I'm hoping the next one. I'll watch it before 2 comes out in November, for sure.
You should, dude. It's a great movie.
And this is going to be another one with Pedro Pascal because he's not in enough stuff.
Yeah, no, we need more Pedro Pascal.
Good actor, but it's just getting old seeing him and everything.
Well, he has yet to be in something bad as far as I've seen. Everything he's in has been gold.
Yeah. I want to see the one he did with what's his face? Gone in 60 Seconds. What's his name? Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the movie where Cage is playing Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I want to see that so bad.
Yeah, that was one I wanted to see in theaters. I never got around to it.
It looks so good, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
Once I see it, that'll be my new favorite historical fiction.
Well, absolutely. No, that would be the number one best historical fiction. No, but I think it depends on how competent the movie is. It depends on how competent the team is, the writing team, the actors, the director. It depends on the content of the movie. If it's a story like Gladiator, that's totally fake, totally set in a fantastical look at the Roman age.
Yeah.
But it worked. It really worked. And I don't think it could work in most movies. It's weird. It's either like, I don't know. It's very fine. I just think that if you pay respect to the period that you're playing in, even if you're not accurate, at least pay respect to it.
Yeah.
That would be that works.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I mean, there's some that are set in like periods and that are just pure fiction. Like we watched that Viking show on Netflix, the comedy one.
Yeah,
like that one. It's I guess it's historical fiction. Like it's historical things, and like they cover events that happen, like when they went over to that one church village and destroyed it.
Lindisfarne.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's it's a good take on it, but again, it's a comedy, and comedy you get away with, in my opinion, more stuff, more
Absolutely.
Just nonsense.
Absolutely, yeah. No, if it wasn't a comedy, I would be like, this is garbage, and I never want to see it again.
Yeah.
But then on the opposite spectrum, you have the show Vikings, just called Vikings, the quote History Channel show. I know I and a lot of people like to call it Vikings because they wear biker gear instead of armor.
Yeah, they were riding their Harleys back in the day.
Yeah, dude. I don't want to get into it because it's a whole thing, but the armor they wear in that show is too bad to brush off. I'll put it that way. And I guess that's a good metric. If it's not going to be accurate, at least don't be so wildly impractical that it's laughable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, armor should be armor, not a thin, like 1/10 of an inch thick leather vest that you put over. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, armor should look like armor. I don't know. That's and they also mess with the timeline for the Viking age, like 800 to 900, let's say, roughly, AD. And it's the drama is decent. The first couple seasons are pretty cool, but it just goes off the rails and it becomes like a joke. It becomes laughable because it's not practical. I guess that's a good way to put it. It should be practical.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other ones that I've watched. I'm still stuck on that. Like all I could think of is Titanic, Braveheart, a lot of like war stuff.
Well, when you start diving into history, the first thing you find the most information on is wars.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately. I mean, I want to know how people lived. The wars are cool, don't get me wrong, but Braveheart's a god awful atrocity.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's nostalgia, but I do like it. I do like the movie.
I mean, it's dumb fun action, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
With some drama in it.
Yeah. It's, if you think of it as almost like a fantasy movie.
Yeah. That's kind of the only way you can look at it. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's not bad. But what about books?
Books. So yeah, back to Hood. That was my favorite. I know I have some. Again, I'm drawing blanks. It would go back more towards like it's set in a historical time. So because you have like a lot of the King Arthur, like I was talking about earlier. Oh, and then Abraham Lincoln, vampire killer or hunter. There you go.
Vampire Slayer or Hunter.
Yeah, that one was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's really all I can think of right now. Oh, besides, hold on. So, Black City Saint. This is one I put up in a list before with the main character. It takes place in the 1920s, and it's got a lot of fiction, but it's got a lot of historical fiction mixed in with it. Besides being set in the 20s and all that, main dude is Saint George. Just kind of, I don't want to say reincarnated, but now he's a detective in the 20s in Chicago.
Okay, like the Saint George.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saint George the Dragon Slayer.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a pretty dope book. There's I think it's a series of 3 books. I could be wrong, could be 4, but that is one to check out.
That's cool.
Black City Saint by Richard Knack.
You'll have to text that to me then. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I got that one. My mom got that one for me one day. That's the only reason I put it in that list is I was thinking of like great detectives and I was like, oh yeah, St. George.
Dude, speaking of great detectives, did you know who's the author of Sherlock Holmes again?
Conan Doyle.
Arthur Conan Doyle. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sorry.
Yeah.
He is a knight or was a knight.
He's still alive. He's just like 300 years old. No.
Oh, no. I was going to say, like, what? Is he a vampire too? What?
Yeah. That's how he became a sir.
Yeah. No, but he hated Sherlock Holmes.
Oh?
He detested Sherlock Holmes. The reason for it was because he wanted to get famous for writing other stuff. But he got famous for Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of a stupid reason to hate something you made.
Yeah, I mean, musicians get that too, like bands. They start to hate some of their older songs because that's all people want to hear.
Yeah, I could get it more with a musician. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're doing it over and over.
Yeah,
like the same exact thing over and over, not just like a new story with a same character.
Yeah, you're performing the exact same song or couple of songs like millions of times. But especially if it's like a song about an ex or something, that would get real old, dude. But I mean, unless you really, I don't know. Well, no, never mind. But yeah, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wanted to get famous on something else. I forget what. So he detested Sherlock Holmes, but it's like, bruh, you got famous. And like you said, you got famous and really wealthy, unless he was already wealthy, and you could write different stories just with the same character. So why are you mad?
Yeah. I mean, if it was like publishers today, because I think some of them, at least I've heard stories where some of them get like pretty uptight and make sure that you're just going to continue this series and not write something new. But I don't know how it was back then, but he should have been able to have a chance to, on the side, write what he wants to write.
Wasn't it like the 1800s?
It was the Victorian era.
Yeah, so like late 18, early 1900s.
Yeah.
I mean, there were no rules back then. So
yeah.
Nothing had rules back then. I don't know. I thought that was fascinating because I know you really like Sherlock Holmes, and I came across that, and I was like, I think I was watching a video of like authors or creators who hate their own creations.
Yeah,
and it was like, damn, dude, that's weird.
Yep. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes. I mean, would you call that historical fiction?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's Victorian
it's set in that period. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, contemporarily, so when it was written, no, it was just fiction.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, I would call it historical fiction.
Would you consider Idiocracy historical fiction?
I would consider that prophetic sci-fi. That's what I would consider. Actually, no, man. It's already, everything in it is already kind of happening. So
yeah,
we'll just call that non-fiction fiction.
Yeah, that works. Real fiction.
I mean, dude, would you vote for Geronimo?
Well, yeah.
I would. I'd absolutely vote for President Geronimo.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his name?
I believe so.
Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Comes out on stage with a machine gun. Oh man, I'm gonna give it
Camacho.
That's it. Yeah. Camacho. I'm gonna give it 4 more election cycles before we get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be there.
Maybe 2. It could be 2. I mean, we had Hulk Hogan at the RNC.
Yeah, I was watching someone that took up Camacho's big speech when he was announcing main character and all that about how he's going to save the world, and they splice it up with Hulk Hogan's speech, and too much of it lines up, and it was kind of weird.
Dude, I kept thinking about that, especially when he ripped his shirt off. I'm like, okay, we're here. We're already here.
Yep.
All we could do is laugh while the world burns, man. Oh, that was great. I loved and hated every second of that.
Yep. It was fantastic. But
I think that's a good segue.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another movie because I'm dying to talk about this movie. So today recently we watched America, the motion picture. This is an animated movie made for Netflix. And it got terrible reviews on here. Like, I don't know if you can read this, but Rotten Tomatoes 34, Metacritic 38.
How?
I don't know.
What?
That was from the get-go, like 5 minutes in, maybe. I was already saying, like, this is one of the best movies ever. This movie is fantastic. It's a historical fiction, but very hard on the fiction, and it's an extreme comedy. It's not meant for kids. It's
not at all.
R. But it is fantastic. If you don't mind a little bit of like brutal action and then foul language, then yeah, you're gonna love this movie.
Yeah. I think people rated it badly because of it goes back into media illiteracy. Like, they just, because there's a lot of subtext. Like, I would say half the movie is subtext. Because they're saying a ton in this movie without saying it directly. Yeah. So I think a lot of people missed that and probably just thought it was some dumb, like, hyper capitalist red comedy.
Yeah. And it is so good. But yeah, like there's a lot of inaccuracies. Like when they start off and you find out that 2 best friends are George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, which wasn't a thing. They were apparently like the same age.
No, it was a thing. It was a thing. Come on.
Yeah, all our like first 15 presidents were just great homies.
Yeah, didn't they teach you that in school, bro?
Yeah, they all grew up together. It was great, but yeah, and then it deals with like werewolves and all this other crazy stuff. But fantastic cast. Everybody plays their character very well, and they are all very, very funny.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't realize that was Will Forte for Abe Lincoln. I thought that was pretty awesome.
I recognized that right away when he started talking. I'm like, no way.
But
Thomas Edison and
yeah, this is definitely, once I got done watching it, I can confirm this is my new favorite animated movie ever.
Yeah, it is. It's my favorite animated movie. It's one of the best movies I've seen in a couple of years. And it is by far the best movie we've watched for these shows yet.
Yeah, that was amazing. trying to see how we can talk about this without any spoilers. Is there anything in it, or let's just go with a character that stood out the most to you?
Probably Thomas Edison. Because the spin that they did on Thomas Edison, I thought was really cool, and I thought a lot of social commentary was presented through her character. I really liked who else? I mean, Washington was great, but what's it? Sam Adams.
Yeah.
Sam Adams fitting his name. He was another one that I think. I mean, it's hard to pick because they're all so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Paul Revere, especially at the end. At the end, he is the coolest thing ever. It had me dying. But they're also the national anthem is the best thing ever, and then Sam Adams after that. I'm gonna play this song at every party from now on.
I knew they were gonna go with that song too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Everything about this movie is amazing. Oh, I didn't know Simon Pegg was King James.
Yeah, he did good at covering up his voice.
Yeah.
Well, it was like Benedict Arnold too.
It was Andy Samberg. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. I had no idea. I am Pay, Geronimo, Raul Trujillo.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Because I didn't look at the cast at all. Frederick Xavier, John Wilkes Booth. I've never heard of Kevin Gillies.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a lot of the people down low.
Civil rights man.
Yeah.
I think they're referencing the end there.
Yeah. He kept jumping in like at random points in the movie.
Yeah.
The funniest joke they kept doing was George Washington saying something dumb, John 3:16.
Yeah.
Just something extremely dumb. Finish it up with John 3:16.
Again, more subtext. Like this movie is seeping with subtext. Yeah. Just the total biblical illiteracy, yet using it all the time for your own ends. Yep. There's what is it? At one point, Thomas Edison says, "Yeah, these people in power keep telling us that science isn't real." Like, yep. She says that like 3 times. There's so much political commentary in this movie, and I loved it because it's presented in the dumbest, most fun way.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be that. Like, I had no hopes going into this. I was like, oh, this might be really bad. Because I did see the Rotten Tomato score. I was like, okay, so it's going to be trash, but that kind of works for, it fits in with everything else we watch, or most of what we watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I thought it was going to be
surprised.
But
yeah, so I definitely suggest people check this one out.
America, it's like an 11 out of 10.
Yeah. Yep. But next, we should go on to our other thing that we talk about every week.
Oh, yeah. I got that up.
You
here.
have the honors.
I forgot I have to share the screen. Whoops.
Yeah.
Oopsie. Good thing we're not professionals.
Yeah.
This will happen even if we become professional. Yeah, professional and unprofessional. We just keep failing downward.
Yeah. Which is why you get that up. Have you seen my shirt?
I did. Yeah, actually.
My wife made that for me.
Oh.
Yeah, she went to the beach this week, and when she got back the other day, she was like, "Oh, I got you something," and her son started to say, "Oh yeah, it says," and I'm thinking like, okay, so it's gonna be something insulting that I'm gonna probably find funny. And then she busted this out, and I was like, "That is amazing.
That's cool. That's really cool, dude."
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. No, I saw that earlier. I was like, is that one of the, does that say what I think it says?
Yep.
No, that's dope, dude. But all right. So we got like 6 minutes. I mean, not that there's a timer or anything, but we have SCP-4129. SCP-4129, object class Keter or Keter, whatever that means. I don't know. Somebody's gonna know. Special containment procedures. Roads in the rural western United States are to be monitored by traffic cameras and foundation satellites. Locations where SCP-4129 has appeared should be placed under heavy surveillance. Any and all reports of SCP-4 the SCP appearing in an unnatural area, especially those of interest, see incident log below, we may or may not get to that, are to be confiscated, and a cover story is to be issued depending on the severity of the situation. No tracking devices are permitted within the SCP. Yeah, that's right. A security camera outputting live feed has been installed within SCP-4129 with the permission of SCP-4129-1. I guess that might be whoever's in charge of the SCP.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
That's contextually, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the footage must be monitored by Foundation personnel in order to determine the local or location of the SCP. If the instance is still present upon the arrival of Foundation personnel, they are required to order 1 slice of turkey on wheat bread to go. Due to the layout of the SCP, the specific request is the easiest for the SCP's director to complete in a timely manner. So what is this SCP-4129? It's an unmarked deli away from populated areas with a preference to locations it has visited before. So I guess it reappears at places it's gone before?
Yeah, that's what I'm taking from it.
But like, I mean, it could go other places, but it prefers to go to places it's been before.
In reference to that, let me put this in there because I looked up Keter. Keter class means that they are exceedingly difficult exceedingly difficult to reliably contain.
Okay. Which that would make sense because this is an entire deli that likes to jump all over the place.
Yeah.
But it has been known to occasionally label itself as Delightful Deli, the best sandwiches in somewhere. I guess we don't have clearance for that.
I think it's California because of the number of letters. That's just a guess.
Oh, yeah, it probably is California. I'm going to guess it's California. And rarely as the common franchise Subway. Oh, sometimes it's a Subway. Oh, man.
Eat fresh.
Yeah, eat not fresh. Jared wants to talk to you. It's a special occasion. Oh God. Okay. Anything within the SCP that is not touching the floor or an object that is, such as a stool or table, will be left behind when the SCP changes location. Okay, so like if it's not touching the floor or a stool or table. So if you hang something on a wall, it'll be left behind.
I'm assuming because like the counters go, so it's like freestanding things.
Okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Where the SCP goes when inactive is unknown, probably to the Sandwich universe. What is it? The SCP is known to appear within 100 kilometer radius of subjects who have not eaten for a period of 24 hours or longer. Locations in which the SCP materializes are completely random, the only criteria being that it appears in the direction the subject is moving towards and that it is obscured from view of everyone within the area. So it has to be hidden when it jumps in or hidden in general.
I'm assuming hidden in general. So like if you're in New York, it's going to be down an alley randomly.
Oh, that's creepy. So Jared is definitely going to be there. But that's when it's a Subway. But it's believed that SCP-4129 dematerializes once the subject has completed their meal. Subjects are often apprehensive to enter SCP-4129, understandably so, especially if Jared is there, often providing excuses as to why they cannot. Well, Jared's there.
Yeah.
So nah, bro. Subjects who do decide to enter will meet. Never mind. I'm dumb. Will meet SCP-4129-1. So Okay, here we go. 4129-1 is a Caucasian male, roughly 2 meters in height. He appears to be immune to any form of damage while inside the SCP, and he's generally cooperative, although it has been known to turn hostile during certain circumstances. So is that what the -1 is? Something like an SCP within an SCP?
Yeah.
Okay. What else about this guy? Well, so it's Jared. It is. I was right. It is Jared. But let's see. It's this SCP-4129-1 is the only employee ever witnessed in 4129. However, it has been observed communicating with other staff members, though no response has ever been heard. So there's other staff?
I mean, or it could be like Viva La Dirt League in the early episodes with Rowan, like gonna go check on the package, so he walks around the corner and stomps a little bit and then starts talking to someone who's not there.
Oh, okay, so they're like in the back.
Yeah.
But you can't see them.
Yeah, they're either in the back or he's just talking to himself.
Okay. Probably, well, it's probably children. Because they are the best workforce. But what is
Jared's favorite?
And they're Jared's favorite. They're only in chains half the time, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Well, okay. So he talks to people that aren't there, probably. This Caucasian guy has been witnessed outside of SCP-4129, albeit within close proximity. So he's probably stuck in like a perimeter or proximity around this thing.
Yeah.
It's unknown if this guy chooses to remain within the sandwich or deli shop by choice or if he's kept there by other means. Once the subject's order is complete, the guy will ask if the subject would like their meal here or to go. If the subject responds to go, no anomalous events will occur outside of the deli, disappearing. So that's weird, but nothing else will happen. If the subject replies here, they'll be seated by the Caucasian dude, and the subject then becomes an instance of SCP-4129-2 and can no longer exit the building. Oh boy.
Oh, so maybe that's the other employees.
Yeah, they're all trapped there because they said here.
Yeah.
SCP-4129-2 are patrons of the restaurant, ranging from ages 6. I told you there's kids. Ranging from 6 to 87 years old. All attempts to communicate with the people trapped here have failed. If an instance of someone trapped there exits the facility or deli, they will immediately die. Okay. Once every table is occupied, SCP-4129-1 will ask a maximum of 10 instances to exit the building, which they do obediently. The cause of death appears to be entirely random as long as the instance expires within 1 minute. Since discovery, only 8 instances of SCP-4129-2 have attempted to escape the deli. Cleanup crews are to be dispatched to the location of 4129-1 alongside researchers if it reaches maximum capacity.
Interesting.
That's weird, dude.
Yeah.
Got some incident logs. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. Whoop. Whoop.
Let's get rid of that. There we go.
Pull
us into the vortex.
Every time I do that, I think of Goblin short stack horse gate. Accidentally pull that up, and then disappear.
I saw someone made this video on Switch. It was for Zelda, and they pulled out their Switch and they pull it up and go in and pull up Link's little phone device in the tablet.
Yeah.
And then in that one, you see it go in. There's a video of like another Link pulling out his tablet. And so you think it's just going to be like this never ending maze. and then you get hit with a Rickroll.
That's great, dude.
Video from this year with a Rickroll. We're keeping it alive.
Yeah, please. I hope the kids keep that going, dude.
That would be amazing.
I really hope so. I want to be like 85, sitting there with my I don't know, retinal implants, sifting through, seas of advertisements just to get 5 seconds of content. And I want to see Rick roll.
That would be fantastic.
In my anti-weather bunker.
All right. So that pretty much brings us to the end.
Yeah.
And so I can talk about this last part. Let me get a page pulled up. Okay, that's right. So we have a couple videos coming out this week. Hawk's got Monday. He has the blender.
Yes. I'm doing believe my top 5 favorite No Man's Sky updates. Because I've been playing No Man's Sky since the very beginning. And some of the updates have been insane. So I want to pick 5 of them and go over why I really like them.
Yep, that is a good one. And then I am doing... I was going to pull up my blender. I am doing the Nerd Talk Thursday, and that is going to be Journey to the West. We have a game coming out soon that's going to be based on that later this month. And I figured it'd be a good time just to, talk about it a little bit, talk about some of the characters, some of the lore behind it, some history to it. Yeah, kind of just dive into it. So
that'd be cool.
Definitely check those 2 out. And yeah, that's all we had. So we're going to go ahead and go, but you guys take care. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Stay safe.